Hello everyone and welcome to DBF1 Season 6. 6 seasons have finally come around. It is rounds 1 and 2. We're at COTA, the traditional track for the opening ceremony of DBF1. We're currently watching Gamer James in his McLaren, the most improved driver of Season 5, underway, but he's currently cost himself a bit of time on that lap and invalidated. We've also got Belgium tonight coming your way. That are the two tracks for the opening night for the 6th season. We have got one newcomer to the league this season. It is Hugo Skywalker. He's in 13th place. He's not set a lap time just yet. The only rookie on the grid. Everyone else is returning from last season. We've got Jess Games, also new to the grid. She's been around the leagues. We all know her. We all know her name. She was commentating for us last season. She's in the cockpit this season for Red Bull. Currently on the front row of the grid. She'll be happy with that. If she can gain around a second, she'll be on pole. So Jenga Boy obviously was in the league in Season 3. He'll be happy to be 1 second ahead of everyone else at the moment. Obviously, you can see Lewis Craig down the order with the blocked out name. He is having his risk race tonight, so he will score double points in tonight's race, but he will have to start at the back of the field. Deck Acorn is meant to be doing it too, but he's not come out of the pitch yet and retired the car, so he could be in a bit of trouble if he doesn't start at the back of the field by doing that before the end of the session. His double points won't count, of course, if he doesn't come out and retire the car. We're watching Jordan on the mediums. Looks like he's currently on an outlap or coming into the pits. We'll have a quick look and see if he's just beginning a lap. It looks like he might be. So we'll watch the Williams as he goes round this circuit of Americas if he doesn't decide to peel into the pits. Jordan obviously only did 9 races last season and finished 3rd in the standings. He is a very quick driver and could be on course for a championship this season if he can get it right. Overall 20 rounds. And here we go now. We're on a lap with the Williams. Jordan into turn number 1, late on the brakes, into 3rd gear, round the left-hander. Bit of a tank slapper on the exit of turn 1 on the medium compounded tire. So maybe Jordan not getting the practice in that he would have liked this week. And he's setting a few laps, kind of the Ryan Berry strategy going into the Grand Prix weekends. It seems to be do a few laps on the mediums and then set your fast lap on the softs at the end. And Jordan is struggling on this opening lap at COTA. He has said in the chat that he's going to struggle around here. He's been picked as the pole position favourite tonight, but it doesn't look like this lap, even though it is on the mediums, will be setting him up for a top 8 at the moment. It's currently a 1:32.591 to beat. Jordan will do as best as he can to set a banker lap here as we're on board. Brakes at the 50-metre board, swooping through the left-hander. It's not as clean as Jordan would like, but he's just getting his eye in at the moment. Car number 93 obviously picked up 3 race wins last season. Challenged Lewis in the later half of the season, gave Wace a run for his money as well. And it's looking good from Jordan at the moment. Obviously, Wace still to set a lap. He was the champion of Season 5 down in 16th place. He swapped the Williams for Haas, and Haas have swapped Jordan for Wace. Round the final corner, Jordan comes now. It's looking like it's going to be a top 8 for Jordan so far, and it's 7th place ahead of Chris Johnson. Considering it's on the mediums, I think he'll be happy with that. It looks like Hugo Skywalker has just gone in to the top 3, 3rd place. That is a great lap from Hugo. He was complaining about being the 4th favourite for the championship. The Ferraris 4th and 5th. Gio Mack had a poor start to last season's Scottish Goat, but his second half form was absolutely incredible, picking up 3 podiums, and he's doing a good job ahead of his teammate, who's not an easy man to beat. He came second in the Drivers' Championship last season, Daniel P. He's 2 times up on his previous best. It's not enough to challenge his teammate unless he has a good final sector round the final corner for the Manxman, and it's only P5, even though he gained 3.5 tenths. So time to gain for Daniel P. It seems. Jake's moved up into 6th after going out late, joining late, sorry. Jess has improved as well to a 32.7. She's 2 tenths off pole, so Jess does seem to have the pace, even though race time has been limited for the GOAT commentator. Chris Johnson in 8th. I think he's on a lap or might have just said a lap. We'll see what his split time is in Sector 1. That will let us know what he's looking like, and he's 2.5 seconds down, so he's not setting a lap. Ryan Berry, we'll see what he's doing. He's got plenty of battery in that tank. It looks like he might be on a lap here, so we'll watch the Aston Martin. He's a one-time DBF1 race winner, of course. Picked up a win last season, shocked many, and it was around one of the best tracks on the grid. Can Ryan keep that form going and try? He also got on the podium. He's not improving. Can he get himself up in that sort of shout? And here we go now. The champion of Season 5, round the final corner goes Wace. What will it be? It's P3 on an early banker lap for the Haas driver. He'll get in and out again for another lap. So Wace showing his true form here early on. P3 at the moment. He'll be happy with that. He's got some time to find. Gamer James is a 10th up through the final sector. Will stay with the McLaren for the second half of his lap now. Obviously the most improved driver award last season. He'll want to improve on that. He'll want to keep improving. Obviously last season was his first ever season in a Formula 1 racing league, I do believe I've been told by his good mate Jake, who's up in 7th. Their teammates finally for the first time in Formula 1. Can they mount a charge for the constructors? They'll see what they can do. Podiums will be wonderful for the McLaren boys if they can pick them up. James, though, doing okay through the second sector. There's a bit of a moment there as we go around the triple right-hander. Gamer James in the McLaren doing everything he can, using that battery to extract as much lap time as possible. He keeps it in between the white lines, probably a bit too safe for Zach Brown's liking, but it will keep it valid, and it is up into P8 just behind his teammate. That's a good lap from James, and 7th and 8th is a great time for him. And we'll see, is anyone else on a lap? I think Kai is on an out lap. CJH could be on a lap here, we'll see. Yeah, I think CJH is on a lap. Obviously picked up a win last season. He is teammates with Chris Johnson this season, looking to put in some performances to win the championship. He is the second favourite for the title this season, and if he can pick up the championship over Jordan, he'd be absolutely delighted. He should be challenging Lewis over races, but Lewis obviously only racing every second week this season. Looks like he won't be in the running for the championship, but we'll have a title battle, no doubt. The likes of Jordan, Daniel Piuilna, the two Cybers look quick. Jessica Ball's back. Wace, obviously last season's champion, will be one of the favourites coming into this season. Scottish Go and Daniel Piuilna. The Ferraris look fast as well. It's tight at the top. The top two seem to be away at the moment. The only two drivers in the 32s, but I'm assuming that guys will get a lot closer to the top two once we get into the final runs in qualifying. And I imagine CJH, if he's pieced together a CJH lap, could be close to pole position. The Englishman in the Racing Bulls was in the Racing Bulls in the second half of last season with Lewis, and CJH looks like he's peeling into the pits there. Yes, he is. That's it for CJ on this lap then. Who else are we seeing on a lap? Jordan might just be starting one. I think Kai was on a lap, we were saying, weren't we? We'll watch Kai, see what he's doing round the double right-hander. It's a 39.7. He'll want to improve on that if he can. Round the left-hand corner, obviously his teammates with Darky at Mercedes, they've moved from Red Bull. Darky not here tonight. I believe he's got some pedal issues. It's a bit of a big moment for Kai, but it's a 1.5 second improvement. He doesn't move up the order, but that is a massive improvement in time, and fair play to the Mercedes driver. He can come back in. He probably won't get another lap in, and it's the Ferraris that seem to be out first at the moment for these laps. We'll stick with Scottish Go. He's going to be the first of the two to get their final run in, and once we get going, it's going to be who leaves the pit lane last, who gets the best track space, the best tyres to get going. And Scottish Go, obviously one of the few Scotsmen on the grid now. I think it's only him and Lewis that are left now that I've come into the commentary box, but we'll see if he can prove that he is the pride that the flag needs. He's going to start his final lap, and it's going to be a dash to the finish. 2 minutes to go. Is Scottish Goat starting his lap? He'll avoid the traffic that's coming out the pits. That will move. He should be setting a very quick lap, trying to improve on P5. It's a bit of a lock-up on the right-hand front there, but he's managed to hang on, and it's not cost him too much time. Maybe a tenth through the first sector as we go through the S's. The Haas has to move out the way, and it's a very tight, hard place to let someone through. Hopefully it didn't cost him too much time. Scottish Goat is improving by a tenth of a second. He is 1.4 off the lead, so it could be that he's struggling to get pole position, but if he can get into the top 10, into the top 4, that would be wonderful for him. He needs a 3-second improvement on the Sauber ahead, and he might get a bit of a toll from the cars ahead if they don't move out the way too quickly. He'll use as much of the battery as he possibly can. As you see, he's already down to 10%. Now, just don't invalidate, don't extend on the track, and he doesn't. He keeps it in between the white lines, and Scottish Goat is on course here for a 1/10 improvement. It might not move him up the grid, but it might be able to hang on ahead of his teammate for P5. The Ferraris look like they're going to have an incredible battle over the season now. Through the triple right-hander goes Scottish Goat. Brakes late as he possibly can, get turned, keep it between the white lines. He does fantastically round the final corner now. Try and block out the sun as much as you possibly can. Open the DRS for that little bit of boost. It's a 1/10 gain, not in a position of improvement. Daniel P-Wheelnut has invalidated. He will not improve his lap time. Ryan Berry moved up into 8th. I think everyone else is just starting their lap now. Is anyone close to finishing? Is who's further ahead? I think Jenga Boy, the man on pole position at the moment, provisionally, is the furthest ahead, and he's improving by a tenth of a second. The Saubers look extremely quick here around COTA as their yellow flags through Sector 1. Down the hill he comes now. Brake at that 50-metre board. Turn the car left. He's chucking the car in. The man that only has 7 points in DBF1 back in Season 3. He wasn't the quickest driver back on F123, but he's showing that he's found pace outside of the league, and he's come back to take pole position if he can be stopped. He's going to brake as late as he can, swoop the car left, don't invalidate. He keeps it in between the white lines. And it looks like he's on course for provisional pole time improvement. It's a 32.591. Will it be quicker than that this time? It looks like it's going to be about 0.2 of a second faster for Jenga Boy. The clock has struck 0, so you see a few checker flags coming next to the guy's name on the left hand side of your screen. It's a big moment at the final corner. What will that do? It's a 5/10 improvement, but how much time did he lose there? His teammate moves up into P3. Jess Ball is 6/10 down. She's invalidated. She's out of qualifying. It'll be P2 at best. Check Waste now is the next person up in the Haas, the Season 5 champion. Can he mount a challenge to the front row of the grid? Round the final corner is only P4. Scottish Goat not improving. Jordan up into P4. A 32.9 on the soft compound, showing his pace into the 32s as well. And I think that is it for qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. CJH could only manage a 34.6. That is going to be disappointing for the Racing Bulls driver. And it's Jenga Boy on pole, and he picks up 6 championship points before we even go racing. So, that is it for the first qualifying session of DBF1 Season 6. Jordan picked up a 4th place, but we heard on his team radio to Williams that he absolutely hates this track. So that is fantastic news for him. So Jenga Boy on pole position, 6 championship points to start off the season. Jess Ball on the front row of the grid on her first ever DBF1 qualifying, picks up 5 points. Hugo in 3rd, picks up 4 points. Jordan in 4th, picks up 3 points. Shake Waste in 5th, picks up 2. Scottish Goat picks up the final qualifying point with Daniel P. Wheelnut and Chris Johnson 7th and 8th. Jake and Ryan 9th and 10th. CJ 11th, Baza 12th, Gamer James 13th, Kai is in 14th. I believe it was Ivan in 15th, and it's Lewis Craig 16th and Acorn in 17th. Now, the reason those 2 boys didn't qualify tonight, in Dive Bomb this season for the first ever time, we are doing risk races. So every driver has to take one of these risk races over the 10-25% races. So it's 2 tonight. Lewis and Acorn are going to do it, deck. So they're going to start at the back of the grid. They're not allowed to set a qualifying time. They're allowed to go out, do a lap to gain their setup to make sure that's no issue there. They're allowed to do whatever strategy they want. There's no issues with strategy. They can box under a safety car if that's what they wish to do. The only thing that matters to them is they start last with no qualifying time, and whatever points they score in the race is double points. So if they score in 14th, they get a point, they'll get 2 points. If they finish first, they get 50 points. And that is for every driver over their risk race. So obviously some drivers will have good tracks and some will have bad. Obviously someone has picked Monaco. Another driver's going to be left with Monaco if they don't pick a track. So at Monaco, it might be tougher. It could be better because more people will crash out. So keep an eye out for Lewis. Keep an eye out for Deck tonight. They are going to be double point scorers no matter where they finish. And obviously, if they finish last or between 15th and 20th or don't score points, they will get 0 points and they will have lost their risk race. There's no redos. The only rule is if you set a time lap in qualifying, you'll get a drive-through penalty equivalent of the time. So at COTA, I think it would be about 32 seconds. The dive bomb admins calculated that is how long a drive-through would take. It's about 32 seconds. So you would have a 32-second time penalty after your race. And obviously in dive bomb, the races are so short, 25%, that you're not going to gain that sort of time. And even with safety cars, you've got no chance. You're probably going to drop to back of the grid, and if you even get points, it'll be very minimal. But we are on the grid now. The drivers are getting their strategies in order, getting ready for the ready app issue from the admins. But yeah, Jenga Boy on pole position in the first round. He picks up 6 championship points. Obviously, Dive Bomb have always done the points in qualifying. It was the top 5 last season. We decided to up it to the top 6. The fastest lap inside the top 14 picks up a bonus point as well. But we're on the grid. It's 3, it's 4, it's 5 red lights for the opening round of Season 6. And we're underway. And it looks like Jessica Ball has got a fantastic start off the grid. Can she move to the left-hand side and defend the position? But Jenga Boy going to go around the outside and he's clipped her, and Jess is going to drop down the order. She has damage on that front wing, and that already looks like it's going to be going to the stewards at the end of the race. Jess down into P5, but it's Jenga Boy from Hugo from Sheckways. Scottish Goat up a few places. Jessica Ball in 5th. Jordan's dropped down to 6th as well. I think he had to slow down, and he's also on the mediums. I think Chris Johnson's picked up a place as well. Lewis has picked up 2 places already in the points in his risk race, and the 2 Saubers lead the way on opening night. The 2 newbies to the league, or returning to the league, lead the way. We'll get the tyres up on the screen. Softs for the 2 Kick Saubers, mediums for the Haas in P3, and there's already a time penalty for cutting the corner, and it looks like Jess is in trouble from Jordan here. The damage, she's going to have to box if she can't hang on. It looks like she can. Daniel P. wheeling it down the inside, but he's been hit by Jordan. I think there was nothing really Jordan could do about that. Daniel doesn't seem to have damage, but he doesn't look like he's going to get past Chris, and he's got CJH all over that HP rear wing for coming in. Down the inside goes CJH. What a move that will be if he can make it stick. Daniel did amazing to give him the space, and Daniel got back down the inside. That is amazing racing from CJH and Daniel Pulina, giving each other the respect and the space they deserve, and Daniel lost out there in the end, but that is exactly the sort of driving we want to see from the pair of them. Fantastic from Daniel and CJ. CJ went out on that time. Segways up 2 places. J-O-Mac up 2 places. And it looks like CJH, biggest winner from the start, up 3. Lewis Craig up 4 places as well. He's looking good to score some good points. Of course, his double points race, he's already up into 12th, so that is 6 points scored for him tonight so far. And Hugo is out of the DRS now of Jenga Boy. Jenga Boy obviously put a question mark next to his name. There might be a Stewards inquiry coming his way, and of course, same as last season, Stewards inquiries, you only get 3 a season. If they're unsuccessful, you lose them. If they're successful, you keep them. So it's a risk-reward system. You want to take the risk and report someone, that's fine. If it doesn't work out and you find out we're wasting our time, you're going to lose that report. Checkways found that out all too soon in the season last time. Here comes Scottish Goat though, looking to make a move on the defending champion in Scottish Goat. Maybe trying to force Dive Bomb's hand and say, look mate, you put me too low down in the championship order. Title odds, Lewis Craig up until 11th, past Jake now. Jake, not one of his favourite trucks, COTA, I think I've seen him say in the chat. Lewis Craig up until 11th in his double points race, proving to be better than he is for Deck. Deck struggling in these early moments on those medium compound. Maybe a bit of shenanigans at the beginning cost him a bit of time. Sheckways out of the DRS now, of second place. He could be vulnerable to Scottish Goat. Jess games, she seems to be clawing back in the time to Scottish Goat. Maybe she's adapted now to that wing damage. She's got Jordan and then the 2 racing bulls for company. Daniel P. Wheelnut has dropped. He's behind, ahead of Ryan Berry, and Lewis Craig 5 tenths behind as well, trying to close the gap. And here comes Lewis now, 4 tenths behind. Can he close it enough to get past Ryan Berry? Not quite through the S's. We'll go to the front because here is Scottish Goat now, 6 tenths. The gap between him and the defending champion Sheckways, and it could be, but sooner rather than later he gets the move done. Baza picks up a time penalty down in 13th, not great opening night so far for the Red Bull second driver, but we'll see if he can recapture that win at Spain he did last season, his first win in 64 races, 65 races of experience for Baza. I'm sure he'll be able to figure out how to get past it. Here comes Lewis Craig now, looks like he's going to go down the inside. There's yellow flags, it looks like there's a safety car. Did Lewis get that move done before Ivan retired? I think Lewis may be in a bit of bother of having to give that place back, and I believe it is a safety car. Is it a safety car? It's just caution, yellow flags. Looks like Lewis and Ryan trying to sort themselves out. I think Lewis has got that place. And now we'll go to the front. Probably going to be now that everyone stops because the safety cars are in race 1. They're in the 25% race, if it is a safety car. Or is it a VSC? Hugo could be in trouble here. Hugo's got to move. He can't slow down. He's got to go. Hugo is going to get a time penalty for that, slowing intentionally in the pit lane. You're not allowed to intentionally slow for the double stack. CJ stays out. Yeah, one of the kick-savers is going to be in trouble there if he's reported by the Haas of Sheckways. That'll be a penalty for him coming his way. That's a slam dunk. There's nothing really you can do about that. Baza stays out. I think everyone's in the pit, so I'll get the tyres up. I think that's going to be for hard compound tyres. Yeah, it just makes sense to go on to the hards. Scottish Goat and Hugo went on to the mediums. Jessica Ball onto the mediums. Jake onto the mediums. Gamer James onto the mediums. So we'll see how that shakes up the grid. Yeah, because Hugo's only lost 1 place. So that's slowing down, I think, helped him a bit. Might not help him in the stewards later on, but we'll find out. Scottish Goat in P6, it's a net P4, he's on course for a podium if he can close the gap and get past Jordan in 5th, someone that's not happy with the racetrack. If he can get a top 5 finish, he'll be happy with that. Chris Johnson as well, he's in 8th place, he'll be happy with that, but he's got Lewis Craig, who's already in 9th place. That is a net P7, folks, in a double points race. Lewis could get a podium here, he could even win the Grand Prix with the 2 Saubers with question marks next to their name. Lewis could be in for a massive double points score here tonight, and for someone that is only racing in the odd rounds weeks of the championship, weeks 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9, He needs 50 points in this double race if he really wants a chance at the title. In all fairness, the title is probably not going to go his way, but he is looking up in the points to Alistair, all-time DBF1 points. He wants to beat Alistair. He's 27 behind. He's one podium behind Alistair. He's one race win behind Alistair. And then he's about 6 poles off. His poles, he's kind of been unfortunate. Lewis missed the cap for pole position. It's pace cap, so he wasn't able to get that pole. And then when he did race and dive bomb in the past, it was open, so he was at a big disadvantage. So CJ leads the way. He is in first place, obviously still to stop. Baza still to stop as well. This might be Baza trying to help out his teammate gain some valuable points. Obviously Jess, the Red Bull team. I think someone's come into the pits. That's Acorn. So what happened there for Deck? He's just done one lap on the hards. Baza's overtaking CJ for some reason, and I'm not sure what's happened. And on go the mediums for Acorn. That might be a good strategy. It looks like the same has happened for Gamer James. He's gone on to the hards, so maybe Deck thought, I didn't gain that many places, and I need to pick up places, so go on to the mediums, the quicker tyre, use the tyres to your advantage, and then we'll see. So we're obviously under safety car conditions. Hopefully this will be the end of the safety car this lap. It would be good if it was. I think everyone's going to catch up now, and it'll be lap 6 before we get racing again, hopefully. And then that'll be massive for the league if we can get going with 8 racing laps to go. Obviously Lewis up in 9th place, double points. Acorn, double points, not scoring. Acorn made a big statement to DBF1, the admin team, wanting to be at the back. He wanted this to be his risk race, and at the moment the risk race is turning into a massive risk for the Aston Martin team. Down in 15th place, not scoring any points. Safety car in this lap. So CJH now becomes a safety car. The pace is at his leisure. The only rule CJ has to follow now, that if he goes over 100 kilometers an hour or 100 miles per hour, he must remain at that speed. He can't go back under 100 if he's over it. He has to go when he goes. Can he keep the gap? He's got 4 lap hold. He's still to stop, so he's going to drop to the back of the field, CJ. But he'll get laps led. So he's had 2 laps led. They may have both been under the safety car, but it's still a statistic that he's going to be involved in. Jenga Boy picked up 3 laps and CJ got 2 with 8 laps to go once we go racing. We'll see. Scottish Goat in 6th, Hugo in 5th, Sheck Wace in 4th, Jenga Boy in 3rd. Then the race is neutralised. There's no gaps. There's only penalties for Kai and Baza, who are both going to be near the back. Lewis and Ryan Berry having a bit of the jokery pokery, and CJ now is gone. Has he got a good start against Baza? He has. Has the Kick Cyber got a good start ahead of the defending champion Sheck Wace? Yes, he has. He's remained as they were. Scottish Goat managed to hang on. Jordan now under pressure from Chris. Chris knows he has to make the move because Lewis Craig, double points, wants to pick up these positions as quick as he possibly can. And Lewis Craig all over the back of these guys already, pushing them through the S's, but the 30 year is absolutely killing him. Jessica Ball past Ryan Berry, and she's going to be mounting a challenge on these guys as well. Looks like Daniel's passed Jake through the S's. 2 good mates, decking Daniels and Jake, sorry, and they're battling away. Scottish Goat on the back of Hugo, who's on the inside of the defending champion, trying to catch a defending champion napping, and you're not going to catch him napping very often. And I think the Ferrari may have picked up a bit of damage after that. Jenga Boy now looking to make a move on Baza for P2. He does, up into P2 now, back into the net lead of the race. He always was really after the safety car with CJ and Baza still to stop. Can he? Can he get a good start? 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 Can he form a bit of a gap now. Sheck really needs to get past his fellow Welshman. Baza down the inside he goes. Baza doesn't fight it because he knows what it is there. This is not his battle, and Jess isn't going to catch these guys, you wouldn't think. And he's up into P2 now, waste P3, sorry. He needs to get a move on. If he wants to win the race, he needs to catch up to Jenga by keeping the DRS and make those tyres work to his advantage. Hugo now down the inside of the final corner. That is a wonderful move that time from Hugo Skywalker. Now it is Scottish Goat's turn. He needs to get the move done. He doesn't want to be stuck behind Jordan and Chris Johnson, but Baza using a bit of the battery, using the slipstream of the Cyber to his advantage. Is anyone behind going to make a move? Chris on Lewis, coming back at Lewis. I think Lewis got past, and Chris showing Lewis that their battles from TGP2 back in the day are going to continue, and Scottish go up the inside through the S's. Baza obviously on old tyres, but he's a former race winner. Magic move from Scottish Goat now. Jordan going to put the pressure on Baza, and I think this call from Red Bull to keep him out may have cost Baza's race, but is it closing the gap to Jess? Because Jess now is right on the back of Lewis on the quicker tyre with no damage. She's going to show her true pace now. Has she got the pace of Lewis and the likes of Chris and Jordan? We believe so from her past. Can she remain in that place and keep going? Now here comes Jenga Boy. Looks like he's going to make that move on CJ. They battle tight. CJ defends the position, and he's gone off. CJ's gone off then. I don't think there was contact. I think he's just gone off the track. And he might be in a bit of bother here, CJ, defending those on his tyres, but he's going to drop to the back of the field. And oh, there's damage for Jenga Boy. He's gone into the back of CJ. Not sure who will be at fault for that, but CJ did everything he could to hang on. And Hugo now, CJ's lost it. I'm not sure if he's had that had contact with Jenga or if he's just lost it with that damage. But Hugo now is ahead of Sheck Wace and is within a second of his teammate. And well, the battle for the win here is not over. Jenga Boy was 2 seconds ahead of Sheck Wace. I don't know if Sheck Wace made a mistake or if he just doesn't have the pace of Jenga Boy. But now with the damage, you'd think it's anyone's ball game here at the Circuit of Americas. Lewis Craig finding it difficult to get up to Chris Johnson. Now this is the problem with these risk race that we brought in. You get up past the guys at the back quickly when you're a top front driver, but when you get to the guys that have the experience, that have the podium and win mentality, like Chris and Jordan, you're not going to find it as easy. You might get past them eventually, but it's going to cost you tyres, it's going to cost you deployment, it's going to be difficult. And Lewis Craig is finding it difficult at the moment. Jess Games as well, finding it difficult also. Or is she biding her time? Jordan on the back of Chris's teammate. CJ's going to have to come in to the pits probably this lap. Jordan, you'd imagine, would get past, and CJ past Baza. Jordan going to try and get past Baza at the same time. If he can, he'll go down the inside. Uses that extra grip to his advantage. He'll push Baza wide as he possibly can. Picks up a penalty for that move, as long as Jordan doesn't get another warning between now and the end of the race. You'd imagine that would get removed, but Chris has managed to sneak past. Lewis is going to try and get past Jordan as well, but he picks up a time penalty. Lewis Craig's gone off the track now and picked up a penalty. Disaster for Lewis and his possibilities at double points. Sheck Wace and Hugo doing a good job to hang on to Jenga Boy, who obviously has the damage. Scottish Goat doing his job as well. And Baza now back at CJ. CJ on those worn tyres. So is Baza struggling, but you'd imagine that Chris, being CJ's teammate, would just be allowed to go through, and it seems like that's happened now. Can he hold up Jordan and Lewis, who have time penalties? Can Jess Ball get past? Does she need to get past now that these two have time penalties? With the two Cybers, as quick as they are, being first and second, she might need to. We'll see later on in the race what happens if Jess can get past these guys and get back into the fight for podium conversation. And we'll see. Scottish Goat now on the back of Sheck Wace 3 attempts, but 2 attempts between the two race leaders. The first and second. But Hugo's gone deep, and he's not going to have the opportunity now really down the straight unless he has Great speed into turn 12. He's closing the gap now for the lead of the Grand Prix. The Cyber doesn't go for the move. Scottish Goat doesn't have enough speed to go for the move for the podium. 5 laps to go with Daniel Pierre retiring from the session. And I think we have another safety car here. CJ might have called a blinder for P7. Are we going to get a soft compound sprint to the end? Jenga Boy can replace his front wing. We'll see. Hugo now, after stopping slow once for the double start, can't do it again because he'll get 2 penalties if he's reported for either of them. He needs to speed up. He's slowing down. He's not slowing down too much this time. He's not going to be in bother this time. He needs to remain at this kind of gap. 1 second, we kind of let him off, but he's boxing on his teammate. Checkway stays out. Scottish Gold is in. Baza's in. He's not stopped. Chris Johnson remains out. CJ has the box. Jordan's in. Lewis Craig stays out. Obviously double points. Lewis will want that. With a time penalty though, he might be in a bit of bother. Jess stays out. And I think everyone below comes in, bar Jake and Gamer James. The McLaren's having a solid race here. Maybe the safety car helping them out. They're 6th and 7th, no time penalties. Good points for the McLaren boys, looking like it's going to come their way. Jenga Boy in the lead though, with wing damage. Waste now, not got the other teammate in the way, so he could be okay. Waste for a race win here. So it's spiced it all up. We'll get the tyres up now that everyone's out of the pits. So it's hards for the top 3. It is mediums for 3rd to 6th. It's hards for Gamer James. Hugo's gone on to the mediums. He might have started on his softs. I thought he would have had another softs, bit of a strange call. Scottish Goat, Baza, CJ and Jordan, Ryan Berry and Acorn all on the soft compound, with Kai staying out on the medium compound of tyres. Ryan Berry... Sorry, not Ryan. Acorn having a design. I'm not sure what's happened. I've not really watched his kind of POV, but being his double points race, he's obviously at the moment going to pick up 12 because of time penalties, possibly 11th. So he's going to get double points, but not the double points you'd imagine. Lewis Craig up in 4th. He's going to get 12, 24 points scored. Basically a race win. Obviously the time penalty, he'd need to pick up 3 seconds on the cars behind to keep that 24 points. Obviously with no qualifying points to his name either this week. Lewis's penalty might come back to haunt him. I didn't see where he picked up the penalty, and obviously in Dive Bomb you can't get the penalties removed if you send the warnings in and record your race director. You're not getting the penalties removed, guys, if you don't save the race director after the race. So if you want to report your 3 seconds, you must record all 3 warnings and the race director to get them. Or the final warning that gets you the penalty, and the race director. Otherwise, the stewards team ain't even going to bother looking at it. Obviously 5 stewards this season. That will not be named other than myself. They remain secret to the drivers, so there's no bias or think there's anything towards them. They're all handily picked. They're no relation to anyone in the league. Obviously myself and Lewis related, but if Lewis is in an issue, reporting or reported, I don't be involved in the decision there. But anyone else is fair game. That is the only situation in the league, but with lap 11 and then 3 laps to go, I think with 3 laps to go we're going to be good to go racing, and that might put the softs under a bit of pressure towards the end just because of the tyre wear around COTA is a bit horrible. We'll get the telemetry up so we know the ERS deployments of everyone in these closing stages of the American Grand Prix. Obviously COTA being the season opener, and Dive Bomb 3 out of 6 times, 50% of the time we race here in Dive Bomb. COTA's been the opener. It's signed a deal to be the opener until season 8, so we're going to be season 6, 7 and 8. The next 3 opening races of the season are going to be COTA. So we've got that to look forward to, and we've got Silverstone signing a deal, not this season, but for season 7 and 8. That's Silverstone going to be the season finale. The season finale in season 1, where EFL F1 picked up the first ever DBF1 championship. Vitinho obviously picked up the first ever win here at COTA in Season 1. Gavin YouTube, Dimming Greenbean, and Lewis Craig, obviously former winners around the circuit of America as well. Hambo and Jordan were the winners in the 2 seasons that we've had at Spa. Coming later on tonight, 35% one-shot quality, no safety cars. That's going to be exciting. Maybe the potential of some rain as well. Jenga Boy now becomes a safety car. He is in the lead now. He doesn't have to worry about CJH. CJ obviously had some damage, or cost Jenga Boy some damage. We're going to see who was at fault there later on, I imagine, between those two. But Jenga Boy can go whenever he wants. And then once he goes, he can't stop. So if he goes before the start-finish straight, he's got to continue. If not, anyone can overtake him. It is Jenga Boy, Sheck Waste, Chris Johnson, Lewis Craig, Giskball. That is your top 5. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got 3 laps of racing to go. And Jenga Boy is away. And Chris Johnson now is all over the back of his fellow TGP2 driver, Sheck Waste. Not close enough to make the move. Is anyone going to be close to make the move? Hugo Skywalker on the back of Gamer James. Gamer James defends the position. He goes a bit deep, which he may or may not have been entitled to do, so that puts Hugo wide, and Scottish Goat gets past James. So Scottish Goat making use of those soft compound tyres early on, and it is up behind Jake now, who's cut the corner there and might be a warning away from a time penalty. And Acorn picks up a penalty, so he's not going to gain the places he wants through time penalties. So Acorn got to get the moves done. Here comes Scottish Goat though, on the back of the McLaren. Jake, can he get the move done? Not quite. Gamer James going to defend from Hugo. Hugo down the inside. That is a lovely move from Hugo, but he's gone deep and he's got a bit of a tank slapper, and that may allow Gamer James back through. Here comes Scottish Goat though, on Gamer James. Jake pass now, and Lewis Craig might be here on Chris Johnson for 3rd place. Lewis Craig started rock bottom of the field on the podium here. Could be on for a race when that penalty could absolutely bite Lewis in the bum later on tonight. He could win this race and not pick up double points of 50 because he's cost himself. Scottish Goat and Jess Games having a wee battle though. Jess defended with all her life and can't defend that match. And Jess, who gave Scottish Goat all the plaudits in the second half of the season in the comm box, has seen it in the cockpit there. Scottish Goat could be flying, but with a time penalty, might be in a bit of bother as well. Hugo seems to have gotten past Jake. It seemed to be clean. I caught the last moments of it. Can Jake fight it? Not quite. Not got the straight line speed. Too much downforce on the McLaren. McLaren's dropped a couple of places, but they're still in solid points. And with everyone behind them on penalties, you'd imagine it'd be okay. Jordan trying to fight James. That might allow CJ through on Jordan, and it might allow him through on Gamer James as well. Yep, Gamer James defending for his life, and that is costing everyone positions, which he's entitled to do. He is at no fault, obviously, for defending those places. You're allowed to defend his position. He's not got a time penalty, so he can defend what he wants there. I'm going around the outside, as I did to Lewis Craig. Lewis Craig did to me. If you're going to go around the outside and you're not alongside before the corner, you're well entitled to get pushed off the track. Hugo and Jess having a wee battle. Jess wins out on this occasion, but she might not win out down the straight. She's dropping down the order a bit, Jess, on those mediums. I think not got the straight line speed. She had good qualifying pace, not seeming to have that ability to overtake in the race. Since she had that damage, maybe just finding her feet, or is happy to see these guys have battles and maybe crash each other out. But 7th, respectable in her first race in DBF1, and it's respectable since she's not had much experience in F125 outside of 3 or 4 50% races. Sorry for my cold, sniffling and my deep voice going away. Lewis Craig now 5 tenths behind Sheck Waste, the defending champion, who is about to fall out of DRS. It looks like he has. We're underway for the final lap of COTA. Hugo's picked up a time penalty. Of course, Sheck Waste doesn't know the situation with Jenga on lap 1. We'll leave it to the stewards. That'll be decided later on tonight, possibly in the morning, who wins the Grand Prix, unfortunately. But we'll see. On course, Jenga Boy for his first win and his first time scoring more than 5 points in a single race. Obviously, he was official JE back in the day in Season 3. Picked up some good points in a few races, obviously not many, but good points, and it might be on course for his first win tonight if he can make it stick and hang on. He's obviously got a time penalty that Sheck Waste has to manage. At 3 seconds the gap, on the final lap. So Wace is on course for the win here. Chris Johnson is probably going to be second. Jess is third or close to third. Chris and Hugo having a battle, and it looks like Hugo's got him past Chris. Lewis is past Wace, but Wace is not really going to fight that with the time penalties. And there we go, Chris and Jess behind Hugo, but with time penalties they're going to get back ahead. Jordan seems to have gotten dispatched by CJH, and it's going to finish relatively close here on the first race of the season, mainly because of the two safety cars in the 25% race. It looks like Sheik Waste is going to be on course to win the Grand Prix due to penalties. I didn't realise Jenga had picked up a penalty. That must have been recent. We're going to go and watch Jenga. He's dominated the race from start to finish. His turn one might be called into question, but his time penalty is what's going to cost him here. Jenga Boy round the final corner to pick up the win in opening night, but it's going to be Sheik Waste, the defending champion, hangs on and sets the standard for season 6. The defending champion wins only his second race. Congratulations to the Welshman. 25 points for Wace. Jenga Boy comes home in second place, picking up a solid 18 on his 6 points in qualifying. Lewis Craig on the podium, double points, 30 points scored for Lewis Craig. He is leading the second place in the championship after starting last in the risk race. That is the reward you can get, ladies and gentlemen. 30 points scored for him in race 1. That is magic from him. As you see the podium celebrations underway now for the Haas, Kicksauber and Willie Alpine driver. Not a kind of podium you're used to seeing, but congratulations to Lewis. 15 points scored, 30 points with a double multiplier, and I'd say that's a pretty successful risk race for Lewis. Wasn't the same for Acorn. He was down the order. I don't think he managed to score many points, but it's Sheik Waste that wins the opening race of season 6. Jenga Boy on the podium with Lewis Craig in his risk race scoring double points. Jess picked up 4th, Chris Johnson in 5th. With Scottish Goat only manages 6th place, disappointing for him after his race. Hugo down in 7th with Jake in 8th, Baza in 9th and CJ in 10th. ERT Jordan picked up 11th with Acorn picking up 12th, meaning he'll get double points for that place. Gamer James in 13th, Ryan Betty 14th, running at the points for tonight. Kai picked up 15th, Daniel Pulwillen didn't finish, and either did Ivan Tonzik. And the fastest lap of the race went to Jenga Boy, so he picks up pole, second, and the fastest lap. So 18 with 7 bonus points. Lewis Craig leads your Drivers' Championship, ladies and gentlemen, after starting at the back in the risk race. That is the reward you can get if you get it right, ladies and gentlemen. So, one shot qualifying, 35% race around Belgium, no safety cars. We are in for an exciting time around Spa-Francorchamps. I'm going to see you in a few moments when qualifying is about to get underway. Well, hello again, folks. We got 30 seconds before one shot qualifying gets underway here at Spa for the second round of the season. Sheckways picked up the win on the opening round, improving on his only winner last season, even though he was the champion. So, if there's anything to go by, don't put a bet on Waste to win again this season. He might win the championship, but he probably won't win again. So we'll see. We'll watch Waste on his lap around Spa. We'll put the pressure on the previous race winner, like we always do, when I can find his name. Wherever he is. Oh, I've lost him. I had him and then lost him again. Let's find him as we go through the first corner. Well, he seems to have vanished. So we're watching the previous Polestar Jenga Boy app. The hill he goes around El Rouge App Radion, and now down the Camel Straight. First place and second place for the two Kick Cybers. They seem to be absolutely rapid this season in qualifying and the race. They were really quick as CJ bumps up to the top of the timesheets. And around through the final parts of the first sector we go, down the hill. Swooping right-hander onto the grass for Jenga Boy. How is he still in first place after that? Picking up some grass on his tyres. Drops down a few places now that the usual suspects are picking up their pace and up the grid. He's using all that battery, all the revs on the car. He's pushing the car to the absolute limit as Jenga Boy here. Around Spa, he's doing everything he can to pick up the time he's lost on the top two. It's CJ from Waste, Scottish Goats up there, Jessica Ball's up there, Lewis Craig's up there. We have no idea who's going to be on pole here at Spa for the first round, second round of the season, the first 35% round of the season. But the man, the myth, the legend, Lewis Craig's up there now in second. He's dropped to third. This qualifying is absolutely crazy. One shot quality. We can't watch everyone at the same time, but it looks like CJ's got the advantage here. Going into the bus stop chicane. We're on board with the Kick Cyber. Right hand corner takes a bit of curb. Left hand corner avoids the curb, and that's going to cost him. He's dropped down to 5th place. His teammate Hugo Skywalker's on pole. And I think Jenga Boy's invalidated, or he's gone deep. He's in 8th place there. He's disconnected from the session, actually. So I'm not sure what's happened there for Jenga Boy. And maybe a rage quit after being 8th. He's not used to being that low down, but we'll see. It was his teammate Hugo that's on pole, and picks up 6 points. CJ in second, Jessica in third, Lewis Craig in fourth on the second row of the grid, Jordan fifth, Sheck Waste in 6th place, Jake misses out on a point in 7th, Jenga Boy in 8th if he can rejoin, Deck in 9th, Scottish Goat 10th, Daniel P. Whelan at 11th, Chris Johnson in 12th, Baza in 13th, Ryan Berry 14th, 15th for James, 16th for Kai, and 17th for Ivan Tonzik. Can we get Jenga Boy back in this lobby? I will quickly try and invite him a few times. So hopefully Jenga Boy can get back in. Otherwise everyone's going to move up a place that is lower than 8th. Hopefully that's enough to get him in, and actually something I haven't done before the race gets underway, which is pretty lucky I've not had any yet, is do that. So we'll do that before the race gets underway. The guys hopefully all picked their setups. I forgot to mention it. It was too late because this timer had already started when I mentioned qualifying. Looks like it's a bit cloudy, maybe the chance of rain, possibly not. 35% race, 15 laps. No safety cars, no red flags. It's just going to be a straight dart to the finish. Tyre wear, a bit harsh around this track, but I think my setups, with the tyre pressure so high on my setups, my tyre wear seems to be a lot more than everyone else's, and that may be why my tyre wear is so bad, and so everyone might be okay. CJH, obviously, the tyre whisperer, did a one-stop at Monza in the 50% race this season, and made it work and won the race. Jenga Boy's joined. Will he get in before the race starts? He might not be able to do the start, but able to take control of his car afterwards. We'll see what's happening, and as the players wait the few moments, we will join them when the lights go on. So, we've got 4, we've got 5 red lights. And away we go, but Lewis has picked up a drive-through penalty. He's jumped the start. Oh no, I don't know what's happened there. He's jumped the start. He's in the lead now, but he's going to have to serve that within 3 laps. Disaster for the Scotsman. There's cars off in the background. Scottish GOAT is all the way down the order. I think Baz has dropped a few places as well. Waste is up into P4, and was it we just let the race settle down into turn 4, goes Hugo Skywalker back ahead of Lewis Craig. CJH ahead of Lewis Craig as well. Lewis obviously with a drive-through going to have to serve that between now and the 4th lap of the race. Will he let drivers pass? Probably not. He's going to defend that as best he can. He's let Waste pass because Waste might be able to win the race, but CJH putting the pressure on Hugo Skywalker on the early moments. Jenga Boy up into 6th place due to Scottish GOAT. I think Scottish GOAT was actually pushed wide or pushed someone else wide, and that dropped him way down the field. But as the race settles, it's Hugo from CJ, Sheck, Lewis, Jessica, Jenga Boy, Jordan, Jake, Daniel, Chris Johnson is your top 10. Lewis Craig, the only one with a penalty. He jumped the start, and we're hearing from the Alpine pit crew that it's a wet race inbound, so I think everyone may have started on the softs. We'll get the tyres up. A lot on the softs, a few on the mediums, 1 on the hard, which is Baza. Wet race and wet weather inbound at Spa. We're hearing from the Alpine pit wall, so we'll see how good Lewis's weather crew are, and if the weather comes. Jenga Boy now looking to make a move on Jessica Ball. The pace cap being removed allowed these 2 in the league this season, and Jess finding it hard to defend early on from Jenga Boy. Maybe over the course of the season we'll see people be able to challenge him a bit more, but the one-shot qualifying caught him out, and he's down that order, and that's why he's having to overtake these people. And Jess maybe going to try come back at him in the next few stages up the Kemmel Straight, and Lewis Craig doesn't take his drive through this time. Obviously won't be able to get it removed. You'll have to serve it, otherwise he'll be disqualified. Absolute disaster for the Scotsman. But here comes Waste now on the back of CJH. 1 race win this season already, and it's Daniel P. Wheelnut though that's making the move on the back of Jake. Lovely move from Daniel up into 8th. 2nd in the standings last season over 20 races. Didn't have a great race at COTA, but can he get back up the field and show his true natural pace? The league's a lot quicker than it was last year, but if there's someone that can rise to the occasion, it is him, Daniel P. Wheelnut. Didn't pick up a win last season, something he'll want to do this time round. But it seems to be a lot closer around here at Spa in the early going than it did at COTA. Sheck Waste 2 temps behind CJ 2 temps behind the race leader. Lewis keeping them honest as well with Jenga Boy closing. But Lewis with a drive-through is going to drop massively behind. Lewis Craig, not here all season. Is he the man that could challenge Jenga Boy over 20 races? It would be a good test of Lewis's pace to battle Jenga Boy. We'll see. Lewis obviously stuck behind these boys is going to allow Jenga Boy to catch up. We'll see coming into the bus stop chicane how much he closes. Lewis might also serve that drive-through penalty this lap. But we'll have to wait and see. As Hugo leads the 2nd lap, he will begin. Lap number 3 is the race leader. CJ will be in 2nd. Sheck Waste into 3rd. Oh, Lewis, man. He's a drive-through penalty and then pits and picks up a 10-second penalty. So that is his race well and truly over of anything substantial. After that risk race, being perfect bar his penalty, picking up the podium in P3, and then does this. He probably won't even score top 10 now. We'll have to wait and see. Here comes Waste though. He gets DRS. Might use a bit of VRS, but he's got to watch out because here comes Jenga Boy on the back of him now for the opportunity of P4, but he's not going to get around the outside of the defending champion around that corner, and Waste obviously not going to win every race. He'll be up there. But it's unrealistic to expect he'll win every race. But winning championships all about being consistent. And with 1 race win last season and being the champion, you know he can do that job very well. We'll see if he can repeat the fate and be a 2-time champion. 5 seasons of Dive Bomb, 5 different champions. EFL F1, The Matter, Alistair Bain, Domingue Green Bean, and Sheck Waste. Will 6 be a sixth world champion. I'm not sure if any league's had that where the same champion has never defended the crown, or sorry, retained the crown. The champion's defended the crown but never retained. Can Sheckways break that curse? Obviously on course for a podium here. He's got Jenga Boy pushing him at the moment. And then we'll see. It looks like Jenga Boy is going to pass him, maybe with a bit of ease. Down the inside he goes, and that is up into P3 for the podium. Sheckways down to fourth. He just needs to hang on to fourth and maybe see if these guys battle or get penalties. Obviously CJ and Jenga Boy seem to have a bit of love-hate relationship, battling each other at COTA. We'll see what it's like. We're on board with Jenga Boy as he goes round the outside of CJ, trying to make it a sober 1-2, and he does. The pace down in 8th. Jenga Boy looks like the quickest driver in the league in week number 1, but we've seen this happen before with Hamble, where he looks the quickest, but over the course of the season, an inconsistency, that pace seems to vanish. But CJ now going to come back at his arch rival in the Sauber. He's obviously got DRS as the Sauber. He goes defensive. CJ not going to be able to make a move there. He goes deep and he can't really do anything there, and he's picked up a 10-second time penalty. I'm not sure why CJ's done that. Yeah, he's didn't really have the room to make a move, and then cut the corner completely. Is got another 10-second time. That's 20 seconds. CJ might just retire in the pits. I think he's going to call it quits, but he needs to keep going for his title. He needs to score some points for his championship. It's going to be a long pit stop, and I don't even think you can serve the 2 penalties in one go. I think he's going to serve 10 seconds and then have a 10-second penalty added on to his result at the end of the race. Poor from CJ. After having such a good COTA Grand Prix, but we'll see what he can scrounge, or he might be able to score some solid points, although it seems like he's here to ruin the Kicksauber's day. Waste got Jess on the back with Jordan and Daniel Pio-Wheelnut closing in, keeping them honest. Jake's the first man not with DRS in the top 8, but Jake doing a good job in 8th place. Obviously picked up a podium last season. Wants to pick up a few more if he can this season. He might need some stuff to happen further forward, but that is always going to happen in Dive Bomb. But he's closing back in. It's 1.2 now. He's gained 3 temps. And with wet weather predicted, as Hugo and I think Jenga Boy are going to pass CJ. Yep, they do. CJ is going to come back at them though up the hill. CJ should be able to pass Jenga Boy on the Kemmel Straight with DRS. A bit of battery probably being used as well, and he'll be down the inside this time, and that allows him to make the move. And Jenga Boy has to settle for P3, but then with a 20-second time penalty, I don't think he'll be too fussed with that. He's got Sheckways though, the defending champion, the man that picked up the win, who's already proven that if you make a mistake, Jenga Boy, like picking up a time penalty, I am there. I'm going to pounce. I'm going to pick up. And there's the rain that Lewis, Craig and Alpine predicted. Lewis down in 14th place. Obviously, the rain, his pace should get back up the order. Maybe to around 9th or 10th, Lewis. He'll need the rain because he needs people to struggle. CJ seems to kind of been... Oh, and Jenga Boy's going for a late move down the inside. And that was very late from Jenga there. CJ, a bit of the intermediate whisperer, I think last season he was in the later half, especially in TGP2. He was fantastic on those intermediates and wet conditions. We'll see if that continues this season. With the 20 seconds though, he's going to need to be perfect pretty much. Jenga Boy, it was a bit of a late lunge. I'm not sure, because I wasn't on board, if he's entitled to the space or not, but he's going to have to keep going. Because Hugo doesn't come in, CJ doesn't come in, everyone is not risking it yet. But it looked like there were some moves, and here comes Sheckways on Jenga Boy, not quite able to make that move as Deck gets past Scottish Goat, and Chris Johnson is the first driver into the pits. We'll see what tyres go on that Racing Bull. Waste now, the closest driver to making a move. He's only got 6% ERS. The cars in front seem to be struggling as well, but that might be why Sheckways is doing everything he can to keep up with these guys. He's using all that battery. Intermediates for Chris, intermediates for Gamer James, and I think everyone might need to start boxing now. Just to cover off that undercut. Obviously, wet race was predicted by Alpine at some point. We didn't know when, but lap 5 it started to come, a couple boxed, and then we're on the 6th lap of the Grand Prix, the 6th tour of Spa-Francorchamps, and it's currently just spitting with rain. It's kind of just tickling us with the excitement of a second half wet race here at Spa and the 35% no safety cars, and we were kind of used to this. Austria season 3. There was dry it was wet, sorry, it was intermediates and it became dry and some stayed out in the inters, some boxed. Will some risk it and stay out on the dry compound they're on now? And I think here comes Jenga Boy and CJ now. Not quite able to make that move. CJ goes a bit wide defending the position, and if Jenga Boy's smart, he knows he's got the pace to catch his teammate, realistically. You just leave. And I think CJ's gone very deep into the corner as well. Yeah. Don't retire on track, CJ, because you'll, please, get a time qualifying ban. If you're going to retire in the pits. Daniel now ahead of Jake. I think he's been ahead of Jake for a while. And is behind Jess now. Only 4 attempts. And, well, this race is coming to Jess. Sheck Wace's box. So is Jordan. For the intermediates, so they're doing the undercut here, and as this race is coming to Daniel, it might be fading away. These guys that are up on Jess in the top 4 might need to box this lap. We'll have to wait and see. We're hearing over the team radio. Lewis is not happy with his 10-second time penalty, but the problem with that is Lewis is going to have to serve it in the pit lane. So the stewards won't remove that as he has to serve it, which is unfortunate if he's not sped. And he's pretty angry on that Alpine team radio. So it's unfortunate for Lewis if he has, because they won't remove it being in the pits. You might be able to report it, but I don't think they will. Unfortunate for Lewis, especially after this first race was so good, and then the obviously early moment picking up the drive-through and the speeding penalty. A second race to forget for Lewis. He's just got to get back on the horse and pick up as many points as he can. Consolation race, and should still be close to the top in the championship. But it's the Cybers that lead the way. First is second, but opposite. 2.2 seconds the gap now. Jenga Boy maybe slowing down for a pit stop. As long as it doesn't affect the driver behind, you're okay. And he goes in. Is Jenga Boy in? Yep. So he can't slow down if it affects the driver. So it would affect the driver now. It wouldn't have affected the driver when he was doing it previously. So he should be okay from a penalty. That's the way you're meant to do it. I don't think Hugo really did it last time out. But now it's a battle between the pit crews. Red Bull, Ferrari and Sauber. It looks like the Red Bull did a fantastic job. They're ahead of the Ferrari and the Sauber. No, they're going to drop. Yeah, they couldn't get him serviced quick enough. He's behind the Ferrari and the Red Bull, this Jenga Boy. And Chris Johnson, who stayed boxed early, came out ahead. And Sheck Wace is in the lead of the Grand Prix in the wet conditions. It's only by 6/10 of a second. But what a strategy call from Haas. Can he hang on? He's under pressure here with DRS and a bit of the battery. He might not be able to defend the position. Oh, that was close. He hangs on for now, though. A bit of a love tap in, but it wasn't anything to be worried about. Jordan obviously won here last season, and with a chance, he's up there as well. He's only 6/10 behind. Jordan and Waste did a good call boxing this early. Jess could be on for a podium. She's 4 seconds back, though. Daniel's there as well. And Jenga Boy a second back. Chris is there, so he's been passed by Jenga Boy. Ryan Berry and Acorn up there as well. CJ's got him passed by Sheck, but I think CJ's just watching out the way. In all honesty, he's going to put deep on the Sauber. But the Sauber on the superior tyres gets past, and Jordan passes him as well. And then CJ with 20 seconds worth of time penalty is not really in this battle. They got 4 seconds to Baza, who I think will come in now. And that'll be really him and Jake. That'll be everyone boxed and on to some form of wet weather tyres. The gap's starting to form now. The wets have come on, and that's only natural. That happens almost every time in F1 in the real sport and on the game. And this is top two come in as we predicted. CJ probably also as well, you'd imagine. No, he's going to stay out. I'm not quite sure on that one. He seems to be struggling as DRS is now disabled, so it's 100% time to come into the pits. As Jess now within 5 temps. CJ goes deep, a wee bit of DRS chicken. There's been some talk actually in the dive bomb admins about DRS chicken. Obviously, there isn't DRS chicken right now because there's no DRS enabled, but there has been some talk about the DRS chicken rule, and and I think CJ's done that intentionally. CJ might be required to hand in his POV of that to the stewards later on, but obviously we've seen that from another league. They've brought it in. There's been talk thinking it's pretty good rule. We don't want, obviously, the crash that happened at Saudi in season 3. We don't want that kind of happening again. So it is only in talks, preliminary talks. It's not confirmed or official, but just keeping the drivers aware of the situation around us as Daniel has a wee trip to the gravel. Just getting his flip-flops ready for the beach after Belgium. Obviously, he won't be going to the beach in this weather, but he's keeping Jenga Boy honest. Jenga Boy's closed the gap, but he's not finding it easy to get past as they're about a second behind Jess, who's losing time to the top 3. But Jess showing her consistency again. Looks like it'll be 2 P4s in a row if she can make this stick. And actually, here comes Hugo on the back of Wace. They're keeping each other honest at the moment at the front. Going to go round the outside of the bus stop chicane. He goes very late on the brakes, goes Hugo. Sheck Wace is going to fight it. He's keeping enough space. Hugo gives Sheck enough space as well. And it looks like Hugo just wins out that battle. Fantastic driving from the pair of them. Sheck did everything, Wace, did everything he could to defend it. And just couldn't hang on. And that was perfect racing. I didn't see anything wrong with that at all. And Jordan now is eyeing up a move as well as Jenga Boy's gotten past Daniel. We missed that after all the commotion up the front in the top 3. But now it's all on Wace. Can he get past? He's only 4 attempts back. He's closing that gap as we speak. He's not got much battery to play with. That's the only thing is the Haas driver. And he's going to have to settle for second place at the moment as Jenga Boy gets past Jessica Ball. And Jenga Boy is looking quick in this league at the moment. And he might be the official fastest man before Darky and Nicole come back. But we might need to see Dan Morris make a reserve appearance to put him in his place later on in the season. But we'll wait and see. Having pace is only half the equation. You need to be able to finish the job. And he's not been able to do that just yet in Dive Bomb. Yeah, so it's only really the top 6 that are close enough to make moves for position. And in this sort of moment, Jess seems to have fallen behind Jenga Boy, and Daniel's fallen behind, and Jenga's obviously 5.7 behind the podium. So it looks like the only places up for grab at the current moment in time are the podium places. And Jordan, the winner at Belgium last season, wants to make it 2 in a row here and make it his 4th race win, which I believe would put him into ahead of Lewis in all-time wins and on to the top 8 wins this of all time in Dive Bomb history. He's 4 attempts back. Hugo seems to be stretching that advantage now out front. It's 1.2. Wace is struggling. And he had a bit of a tank slapper out the final corner there into turn 1, or maybe he was trying to let Jordan past. Sneaky. But Jordan now 1.7 behind. These guys are of the leader now. Jordan, if he's going to win this race, really needs to get past with 4.5 laps to go up Radion through El Rouge. Now, no DRS in the intermediate conditions. He's closing and closing. If he's going to make a move, it needs to be down the inside. He's not going to be close enough. He's just letting Waste know he's there as Hugo sails into the sunset. Not many penalties to talk about other than Baza. Lewis and CJ picked up penalties, but CJ's retired and Waste has gone off. He's hit the grass, and that has allowed Jordan up the inside, and Jordan's not going to give you any room around there, sunshine. He's going to try and hold on to it, Waste, but Jordan picks up P2. He's seen the moment, he pounced, and is up into P2. 2.3 seconds now. The gap ahead. Callum Jordan wins Spa for the second time in a row and make it 4 race wins in dive bomb history. Jenga Boy was 5.8 behind. This battle has allowed him to close up 3 seconds. Can he get on the podium? Or if Wace picks up a penalty, he can be there to pounce as well. Wace and Jordan need to keep it between the white lines. Hugo 2.1 seconds ahead of Jordan now. Jordan closing the gap ever so slightly with 4 and a bit laps to go around this extremely long lap in the dry. In the intermediates, it's even longer. And the Kick Cybers doing a fantastic job early on in the season. Can they translate early term success into long-term championships? We'll have to wait and see. Jordan not quite making the inroads he'd want to. Second place would be fantastic for him though in the championship if he can hang on. He needs that sort of form to win the title. He needs to win races and he needs to be in the top 5. That was sort of his issue in previous seasons. He get a podium and then finish 12th. He can't do that this season. I think he was 5th earlier on tonight, and then 2nd tonight would be fantastic. And Jenga Boy now 2 seconds back on Sheck Waste in the wet. Waste, I think he's had issues in the wet actually in the past, Waste. But with 4 laps to go, he really needs to try and hang on here to P3. I know he's winning the champ, he's leading, he won the race earlier on tonight at COTA, but this Jenga looks extremely quick, and if you're going to win the championship, you're going to have to beat him. And if he can come out of night 1 with two victories, maybe not victories, but victories over Jenga Boy, it's going to look fantastic for his early season form. And Jenga Boy obviously has the pace to be champion, but you don't want to have the pace and not have the results. Wace had that didn't have that problem last season. He had the pace, had the results. He might not have won as much as he would have liked, but he had the results. Jess, same boat in season 37 of TGP2, didn't have too many wins. She only had 2, but had about 12 P3s in a row. Consistency, like defence, wins championships, ladies and gentlemen. And as a former world champion myself, I know all of 1 or 2 things about defending. Obviously, having battling Jordan and Jake to win, sorry, not Jake, Chris, my championship back in the day, all those many years ago. Lewis knows a thing or 2 about defending as well for his championship. CJ, Daniel P. Unit, Jess, we all know how to defend. It's all about catching and overtaking. Wace is catching Jordan. Jenga Boy is within a second of these guys now and might have an opportunity of picking up at least P2. His teammate is 4 seconds adrift here, Hugo. The wet conditions seem to favour the Cybers, and they could be on for a 1-2 here if these guys aren't careful. Lap 13, 3 tours of this circuit to go before we claim a winner, and it looks like Jenga Boy could be on for at least P2. If these guys don't get a move on, it looks like Ryan Berry and Baz are having a battle further back. Round the outside goes Ryan Berry. It looked like he was on the inside at the bus stop. Turned to the outside for the final corner. Baza pushing him all the way over, but it might be enough for Ryan. It looks like it is, but Baza does the switch back, and they're going to be side by side coming up the hill, I'd imagine. This is fantastic racing as Ryan holds on to the place. And it looks like Jenga Boy and Wace had to settle for their positions as they might go down the inside here. Jenga seems like the kind of guy that would do that, but doesn't, and Wace hangs on for another few corners. There's some drama further back. I think a Red Bull's gone off and battling the Astons, and Acorn I think has put his teammate into the gravel and his teammates returned to favour. The Astons, good mates. I think they had a fallout on the tennis court, which is maybe why they're battling like this and pushing each other off. But they're keeping them teammates honest, and Ryan Berry not having a great start to the season after picking up 2 wins and being a title contender going into the final week of the season. Kind of unfortunate last season with connection issues. So hopefully his connection issues are sorted. It doesn't look like he's going to be mounting a title fight at this current time. Lewis Craig only managing 12th at the moment. It is 11th after penalties. A frustrating second race for Lewis after such a great first race. The drive-through was kind of his own fault, but if he didn't speed in the pit lane and got the penalty, it's very unfortunate. But he won't get that 10-second removed, unfortunately for him. But Acorn and Ryan battling away. It looks like Acorn's finally dispatched of his teammate for the moment. The gap is 0.2 of a second. Maybe these guys just keeping each other warm for when Lewis comes up. Or maybe try to get each other warm to get past Jake ahead, and then they've got Chris, and then there's a bit of a big gap. But the pace is close here. Baza might try again on Lewis. Down he thinks about it, Baza, and he's going to get it done here. Lewis seen that proximity arrow and decided to move to the left, and it's allowed Baza to sneak through, but Lewis shuts the door on him in eventually there. Jake now. Oh, sorry, Jenga Boy's past Wace. Around that corner where I mentioned, Jenga Boy seems like the kind of character to make a move there, and after P8 in quali and having a slow stop and coming out behind everyone, he is on the podium as it stands with 1 and a bit laps to go. Can he make it P2 as Jake and Chris are battling, and Jake's in the gravel there and is going to drop a few places, and that might be one that will be looked at after, but unfortunate there for Jake. So it seems to be that 7th downwards seems to be where all the battling is happening now. The gaps have started to form in the first half of the grid. Jordan's doing his utmost as he can to hang on to that position from Jenga Boy. It's 1.2 seconds the gap with a lap remaining. It's going to be close as Deck is off there. I think he had a bit of contact with his teammate. And they're obviously not over their argument on the tennis court, whatever that was about. Rather than Ryan Berry actually is battling Chris Johnson and trying to get past that, put Chris in the gravel. And now Lewis, it wasn't looking like a great race for him. Back up into 8th, possibly 7th here. It is 7th place for now, as we're on board with the Alpine. Not what he would have liked, but after all his drama in the opening 2 laps, he'll probably be happy with 7th, 13.7 seconds behind Daniel Pio, never catching that on the final lap of the race. 1.1 seconds the gap now for Jenga Boy to Jordan on the final lap of the race. It's going to be a difficult ask to make this move stick and hang on to P2. No penalty to cost him any places this time, and even if he did get a penalty, I think he might be okay from Waste if he keeps going at the pace he's going, because he's 2.7 back now as Baza picks up another time penalty. 65 races, he's going for 65 penalties I think tonight. But Hugo, 7.3 seconds, he's dominated this race in the second stint. It was close in the first stint, but ever since the wet weather came in, he's had it under control. 7.5 seconds. It would have been interesting to see what his teammate would have done. I think his teammate has the pace to win this race if he didn't have such a bad qualifying. But these things happen in Formula 1. And it's not something you can always account for. And consistency wins championships. Obviously, Hugo was second. Sixth in the first race. Jenga was second. Hugo's going to win this race as he comes round the final corner. The rookie wins on opening night. Hugo Skywalker wins the Belgium Grand Prix and is a one-time race winner in DBF1. Jordan is going to hang on to P2 with Jenga in third. Wace, 1 in COTA, manages 4th here in the wet. Jess will be happy with P5, you'd imagine, when she eventually gets round. Kai was lapped and finished 15th. I think Daniel Piwilnat will be happy with 6th after his opening round. Lewis Craig coming home for 7th. Will be disappointed with 7th after the qualifying, but with the race start and the time penalty. I think Lewis will be happy with P7 and some good points. Ryan Berry going to come home in what will be 9th as Jake takes 8th. Acorn comes home in 10th with Baza. I'm going to drop down the order because Chris is 11th. It looks like Scottish Goat is 12th after that lap 1 crash. Baza 13th. And Gamer James, the only driver to finish, but he's in the wet tyres. I think he's had a bit of a struggle in this second stint. But congratulations to this man, Hugo Skywalker, a rookie on the DBF1 grid, ladies and gentlemen. The only rookie, official rookie we've got this season. Obviously Jess is technically a rookie, but we've had her before on the channel. Yeah, only rookie on the grid. Picks up a win this season, I believe, off the top of my head. That is the 27th different race winner we've had in the history of my absolutely wonderful racing league, if I don't say so myself. The action is always jam-packed. There's never a dull moment, and it's just fantastic. 28 race winners over 75 races, and it's just fantastic. It's been wonderful to watch again as we see the podium celebrations. 2 kick cybers with Jordan on there too. Jordan seems to be the man to beat around Belgium. A first and a second in 2 seasons. Good job for him. But congratulations to Hugo. Congratulations to defending champion Wace. There's another trophy up for grabs this season at the end of the season in Season 6. Just so the drivers know, Lewis Craig on his risk race, the first ever risk race in Dive Bomb history, picked up a podium and double points, put him on 30 points. Well needed for his season. And it's been wonderful to have you all. It's been wonderful to have Jess finally racing, not in the commentary box. She did a fantastic job commentating and kept the seat warm for me while I took a wee bit of a break from commentating. And it's been great being back in the commentary box. I've absolutely loved it. The driver of the night for me is going to go to Sheckwace. He did good in quali, not kind of where he'd want to be, but decent enough. Picked up a win in 4th place. Looks like he's going to be leading the championship after tonight. Lewis was on course for it if he finished the racing better than 14th place. I think Lewis actually, he was way higher, wasn't he? I think he'd retired from the session, the clown. But we'll have a look later on and make sure that's all right. Jenga picks up 2 fastest lap points tonight. But thank you very much, everyone, for watching Dive Bomb. We're finally back in action. It was a quick break. We're back. We've got 9 weeks to go until we crown the 6th season champion. Trophy will be in the post after the finale of this season. It's a mixed calendar if you can't tell already, but I've been Jack Craig 28 and this has been Dive Bomb, and we'll see you the same time next week for rounds 3 and 4.